Okay, and I might just close a couple of windows down here. Computer's making a lot of noise. Okay, so just to have a group, just lead a wee recap here, and on our activity that I asked you to do, and it was really to come up with an idea on a storyboard for to tell a recycle story, and on how to get people to promote and recycle their phones, and then the key questions that as part of this are firstly to think about storytelling techniques you would use and why, and a little bit about which would be the best method to use, either storyboard or playboard, and then also hopefully everyone has come up with a few nice ideas visually, and then we'll talk about the resolution settings here. So if I go through the first question, number 1, and then storytelling techniques. So if we come to our Padlet here, and so maybe if I'm just going to sort of pick random names, and just to talk about the first question then. So Jack then. And so what sort of key storytelling techniques would you have thought for this project?
When I was looking at this one, because it's an advertisement, I didn't really think there was any of the main storytelling techniques that could be really used for. One of the ones said were like just it's something that a character or the viewer watching it will be able to see and think that they can do themselves, because obviously it's an advertisement about recycling phones, so it is for cash. Yeah. So it'll gain the interest of the viewer because there's something that they can get out of it. So they'll be interested to watch it to see what they have to do to get the cash out of it. So they would.
Okay, yeah. So I can see you've got the start, the middle, and then the end. And yeah. So, but anyone else? Any thoughts on that? For a story, because you'd be still telling a story through visuals, and so maybe Ash, what sort of take had you thought on? What core storytelling techniques would you think to engage your user or audience?
I said that a good thing to add would be like a character that would believe that recycling is pointless, and then another character comes in and like says what's like good about it and everything.
Okay, yes, that's good. So you're thinking about creating an interesting character that could maybe and see, I can see your storyboard here.
Yeah.
And that could maybe appeal to, I suppose, especially looks like the younger audience too. A lot of people do change their phones a lot, and and some phones are quite expensive, and it's useful if they're recycled. I think to help instead of throwing things in the bin or something, so I think that can sort of help as well. So anyone else? So Connor, storytelling techniques.
What I said, try to create an immersive story for the audience, because this sort of idea, especially with looking to, you're able to recycle a phone for cash, like it's an idea that would interest the viewer. They become enticed by the ad.
Okay, yes, that's good. Yeah. And because again, you're trying to create a wee bit of sense of intrigue. Yeah. Okay, no, that's good. And then so Dylan. Your sound's not on there, so maybe come back to Dylan's. Well, let's have one more person then, and so Mark then.
Yeah. Is this still for the first question?
This is for just as a wee recap. I'm still on the first question. So core storytelling techniques. So if you're thinking of the gift gap.
Yeah, well, I kind of thought what Jack thought, that because it's such a simple, essentially an advertisement, that it doesn't need any complex storytelling methods. So just a basic structure, like a beginning, middle, and end, and also probably make the story and the character in it seem relatable to the everyday person.
Yeah, okay, no, that's good. Yeah, because you're thinking of, character as a way, of engaging somebody and, telling the story as well. And while social networking might be more, yes, it'll be more simplistic, but you'll probably, another thing that some of you could think about is colors, having really catchy colors through storytelling, the visual style, and also typography. You could, have a catchy kind of, you see a lot of those kind of almost like time lapse, little animated GIFs that might flicker up. And because if somebody's scrolling down their phone and on, maybe social networking, say on Instagram, or they're on Facebook, or, whatever social networking means, or an advert, something that's going to be, it might be, yes, simplistic, and maybe more vector graphics could be the thing, and colors and fonts can catch someone's eye. And has anyone thought about any other ideas that you'd thought about? What other for storytelling?
I thought about having a positive takeaway, such as a small package phrase that could easily become viral or change the audience's perspective, like a slogan or something.
Right. Yes, yeah, that's good, yeah. And also, sound is another good thing. To the power, so sound on if you scroll down, and if you're on your phone, or if you're on sometimes music depends on. It's always good to give an option to switch the music on and off, but sometimes the music, can help a voiceover, like someone telling this, maybe with a slogan, recycle, reuse your phone. And so those, like, if you think the sound, the visual style, and composition shots. So I think some of you definitely touched on those, and I can see when I'm starting to look at the storyboards, I can see that as well. Okay, those are good. And then, so if we come to the next question, so what do you think, Storyboarding Playboard, which do you think is the most appropriate for this kind of method of digital creation for the the advert? So put it this way: would you use a storyboard to document it, or Playboard?
You'd use a storyboard just to document it, because it helps with having all the slides. It just shows the product itself.
Yes, yeah. If it is a story, if you're doing like a simple, like a linear, motion sequence, and it can be like a playboard, or not a playboard, a storyboard. But perhaps, the web is the place where there's so much interaction. You could make a little interactive game out of it too. That another thing. Although I know the scenario was more so thinking of a linear story. Okay, no, that's good. So then the next question, then I think we'll talk about this here, because everybody's got some different ideas, and then we'll just go through, some of the examples of the storyboards, and just to sort of take me through just a wee bit about your story, because I can see from looking at some that they have, there's some nice visual style and stories. So perhaps I'll just maybe work from. So Brian, if you got yours in your Word document,
yeah, mine's out.
Okay. So I think we'll go through. What we'll just do now is probably easier. I'll get everybody just to talk through their storyboard and their ideas, and because again, I can see just looking at some of them, as I said, you see the color and the composition and so on. So if you want to take me through your little idea here, Brian.
Yeah. So mine's basically of a guy who's walking through a park who's on his phone, but then he drops it and is mad, but he doesn't know what to do with the phone. So some guy comes up to him and tells him that he should recycle it, and Gift Gaff will pay him for it. So he walks and finds a recycling bin where he can put it in and get paid for recycling his phone. And yeah.
Okay, that's good. Well, say you've got, you know, think about, you've got a character in there to tell a story. You've got the composition, you know, you've got your shots here, and then this is, I mean, these seem kind of the medium shots, and then we've got to another character which adds to the narrative, and you've cut to another scene. Okay, no, that's good. So you're thinking about visually, you know, naturally you'll be doing these things. You're trying to tell a story through your visuals, you know, and your color, your composition, and then you can see the little narrative coming quite clear in this. Yeah, no, that's good. Just close this one down. And then, so Dana.
Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't realize that they were the wrong way around until you opened it there now. But my whole idea was supposed to be that, like a teen girl, like her phone is like run down. It's got maybe a few cracks in it or something. So she gets a new phone, and she's looking up online, like, where's the nearest place I can dump this, or where can I throw this out? And then she sees like the Gift Gaff phone recycling thing, and then she is like, oh, I can recycle this and it would be a lot better, and she goes and like tells her family, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I can see, and you've got your colors, and you know, you've got like a kind of more wider shots, and then we're cutting to, you know, close up here, and then a further close up. Yeah. And then you've got your colors, like kind of, you've used like complementary colors, you know, it's kind of thinking that's color harmony. So that in itself, they're all like two just, you know, storytelling techniques, the color and the visual style. And then you've got your typography, which, you know, can tell the story too. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. And then Jack, I'll go across this way, and then we'll go down. So Jack, if you want to take me through your idea there.
Yeah, so my idea is basically just like showing the process of how someone would send their phone away. So basically the first slide is them, or the first frame is them on the website where you put the model of your phone in, and that gives you an estimate for how much money it's worth. And then the second frame is the person putting their phone into a package and then posting the package to Gift Gaff. Okay. The third frame is the Gift Gaff worker looking at the phone, inspecting it and seeing if it's worth recycling, and then the fourth one shows him seeing that it's worth recycling, so recycles it, and then the fifth one is money sliding into an envelope to then be sent back to the person who sent the phone, and then they've got quick and easy cash.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, so you can see you've got, again, like, I think it's the features, you've got your annotated notes, which is good, and then you've got your different shots, and again, I can see that you've got, like, you know, wide shots and close-up shots as well, and you know, to tell that the narrative, and your colors, yeah, you've used quite, I like how you know, you've used the bold colors, you know, the envelope and the bright green, that can really, and I like your font, your little slogan here. So I think that, you know, it's catchy, like that would work. Yes, all of these would, you know, they would work quite well if you were sharing them via social networking, and because you do see so many adverts and social networking being used, you know, as a means to create adverts. Okay, no, that's good, great. And then so Tiernan. Okay, I'll just put yours up full screen here as well. Yeah.
So mine starts out in the description part at the top. I spoke about how I would talk about the damages that are caused by technology being left to waste. So this first slide is supposed to represent sort of the earth and how us leaving our technology in landfill and stuff is causing harm. And then the second frame is supposed to show a guy who wants to get rid of his phone. He wants to get a new one. So unlike the girl in the next frame, in the third one there, she's throwing her phone in the bin so that she can go and get a new one instead of recycling it. He's going to then recycle it and send it over to giffgaff, and then they'll check it out, and then they'll get it all recycled for him, and then they'll send him the money at the very end.
Okay, yeah, no, that's great. 'Cause again, I can see, you know, you've your mix of colors and your shots, and you've got your characters, yes, and you've used the metaphor, you know, the recycling thing, which is useful to tell the story. And it goes from the nighttime to the daytime, which is good. Like, you know, you're keeping it varied, you know, to try and keep the user, the audience engaged. So it's not all, you know, just one thing. There's lots of change here, which is just good. Okay, no, that's great. And then Connor, I'm just gonna just do it in this order here, going across. Is your, I forgot, Connor, is your sound?
No, it's working now.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
no.
okay. Okay.
Well, yeah, so it's just a story of, you know, just somebody's on their phone. They have an old phone and it's just taking a while to load up anything. And then a message comes through of, you know, oh, do you have an old phone? Would you like to exchange it? And then, you know, if you exchange it as well and help recycle it, you can get cash. So then they get in contact and he's given an offer on the phone, and then he's shown to be packaging it, and then it's sent to the you know, it's sent to the gift warehouse to be tested and to see, you know, how much of the device can actually be recycled. And then the second last slide is, you know, the sort of loop of mailing away your device to be recycled, which then turns into cash for you to be sent back.
Yeah.
And then the final is, you know, of when you recycle devices that can be recycled, you know, you make a better world, because, you know, these you know, materials won't be, you know, around forever, you know.
Okay, no, that's great. Yeah, again, I can see the mix of the shots and the close up and the wide shot as well, and your colors and graphics all to tell a story. Okay, no, that looks good. So it does, you know, and that could work, you know, if you were looking at things on your you know, your mobile, because essentially it's people who will be, I suppose, phone users, you know, spend a lot of time on their phone. Okay, that's great. Thank you. And then so Dylan then. Or maybe Dylan, your sound isn't working, is it? I'll just. Okay, well, I see your so maybe we'll come back. I'm not sure if your sound's working there. Okay, and then Cahill.
Here.
Yeah. Okay.
So for mine, I started off by showing landfills that would have full of being technology in the first section. The second side would, like, I have someone who was originally going to throw away their phone, but as soon as they saw that, it kind of made them a tiny bit upset. So they went off onto the internet and started searching, where they came across the gift site, which that gave them stats on the technology thrown out. So they did a wee bit more research into it and just found more info on it, and found that they'd be able to get money out of it. And then I had also other people's reviews of it, so to say. So how it actually helped other people either get the money they needed or
Yeah.
just get rid of old phones. And then just the very end, just a wee company's logo with a wee URL for people to follow.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Yes, yeah, because I can see, you know, you've used your metaphors and your drawing here, and then you've got your annotated notes too to explain. So I can see like kind of more like a close-up shot, and then an even closer up one, and you know, of the kind of the money kind of sign as well, and with your working sketches. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, okay, that's good. And then so Nave, I'll just come to Nave then, if you're sound okay. Maybe your sound's not working, is it? And come back, and then so we'll have Mark then. Mark.
Yeah. So my story is just about a guy that was originally going to throw away his old phone, but decided not to. And he looked online and saw that he could just exchange his old phone for money. And then after he does that, he's all happy because he essentially got free money at the end of it.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's good. Yeah, because you've got your wide shots, close-up shots as well, and your character, he's kind of different expressions on his face as well, showing emotion, showing different, so that again is a storytelling technique. Okay, no, that's good. And then so Jasmine, then if you're not, I know your Wi-Fi was cutting out there. Okay, so maybe we'll leave. So there's some nice colors here. This is sort of contrast to with the wide shots and the close-up shots as well. Okay, and so no, that's good. There's some nice ideas. So if you think naturally through your visuals that you have been, using visual style, you've been using colors, you've been using wide shots and so on, and typography to convey a user, especially interesting characters too. And I think that's, we have talked about all of them there, haven't we? And okay, and then Ash, yes, I think Ash would just had your file there. I think we've got them all. And then again,
so mine's about like this kid, and he's about to get his new phone. So his mom's like, you should get your old phone recycled. He's like, what's the point of doing that? Like, you could just like throw her in a drawer or something. She's like, and then she says how important recycling is, how it like helps the environment and stuff. So he's like, fine, I'll do it. She's like, oh, I'm glad you said, so you'll get some money out of it as well. And at the end, it's just like him exchanging the phone for the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, those are great. Yeah, because again, you've got your shots and you've used your character, and and then a couple of characters here, and then I like how you've got the wide shots, close up, and then the use of font too can help tell a story. And for a viewer to tell a story, especially if you're creating like an animation, and if you had voiceover on it, you can add the speech bubbles to help convey the story too. Okay, no, those are great. So just the last question now really was, so what do you think the best sort of technical resolution would be if you were posting something online, and or can see some resolution, if anybody just wants to. You can see, yes, you've got some web sizes in here, haven't you? Yes, Jack, you can see that as well. And for the, yes, yeah, because when you're thinking on web, it's different for output for, like for a TV or screen, you have to think about pixels, and it's different from print as well. Okay, so there's at least you've lots of nice ideas and stuff on there. So what I'll just do is I'll maybe stop the recording now, and